I stood at the entrance of the event hall, gripping a sleek black envelope in one hand and an elegantly wrapped gift in the other. Inside the envelope was the fully paid catering receipt. The gift, a custom diamond bracelet, an accessory Evelyn insisted was essential for maintaining appearances at her best friend Clara's birthday party. The place was packed. Glittering chandeliers cast a warm glow over the extravagant decor, while a live string quartet played in the corner, their soft melodies floating through the air. Waiters, dressed in pristine uniforms, wove through the crowd, balancing trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres. I had paid for all of it. I should have known better than to expect gratitude. Across the room, Evelyn stood in the middle of a circle of women, flawlessly dressed, perfectly manicured, each holding delicate champagne flutes. She was in her element, laughing, dazzling, entertaining. As I approached, she turned toward me, and I saw the shift in her eyes. I had just become her entertainment. "Oh, look who finally decided to show up," she said, her voice dripping with amusement. The group turned to me, their expressions ranging from mild curiosity to outright smirks. I forced a small smile. "I had to confirm everything with the caterer." Evelyn rolled her eyes. "See? This is what I deal with," she sighed dramatically. "The man is obsessed with details. Always working, never actually living." They chuckled. My jaw tightened, but I kept my expression neutral. "I just wanted to make sure everything was set." Evelyn waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, please. Like, anyone even noticed you were gone? Just relax for once, would you? Try to enjoy yourself. Or is that too much to ask?" More laughter. I clenched my teeth, swallowing the response I wanted to give. "Evelyn, can we talk?" She tilted her head. "Talk about what? How you barely contribute to conversations? How you always look like you'd rather be anywhere else?" I exhaled slowly. "Not here, just, oh, come on." She cut me off, smiling like it was just playful banter. But I knew better. She was enjoying this. "It's a miracle I even got you out of your little tech dungeon. Usually you're glued to that laptop, hiding from the world like some kind of hermit." The smirks turned into laughter. I felt it like a slap. I looked at Evelyn, then at the circle of women, their amusement at my expense. None of them, including my own wife, saw a problem with this. Then she went for the kill. "You'll always be a loser," she laughed, "but at least you married well." The whole group erupted into giggles. Something inside me snapped. For years, I had let it slide. The subtle jabs, the dismissals, the constant reminders that, in her world, I was just barely good enough, only tolerated because of what I provided. I glanced around. No one here respected me. Not my wife, not her friends, not the guests sipping champagne bought with my money. And in that moment, I realized something. I didn't need to be here. I inhaled deeply, then exhaled slowly. Then, without another word, I turned and walked away. Right past the catering manager, who was waiting for final payment, right out of the party, past the golden-lit entrance and the lineup of luxury cars. I got into my own, a modest, practical vehicle Evelyn always sneered at, and drove away. No dramatic outburst, no explanation. I just left. The moment I pulled into my driveway, my phone started buzzing. Once, twice, then again. I ignored it. By the time I finally checked, I had 29 missed calls. I smirked. There it was. The realization sinking in. No payment, no party, no catered dinner, just chaos. I scrolled through the messages. Evelyn. "What the hell did you do?" Clara. "The food never arrived. Evelyn is freaking out." Evelyn's mom. "I don't know what's going on, but you need to fix this. Right now." "Fix this?" I almost laughed. Then one unexpected message caught my attention. "Amelia, I'm sorry about tonight." Amelia was one of Evelyn's few friends I actually respected. She wasn't cruel like the others. I hesitated, then typed back. Me. For what? The response came instantly. Amelia. Because she shouldn't have done that, and now she's paying for it. I leaned back, staring at the screen. Now that was interesting. I turned off my phone and set it aside. Evelyn wanted a show? Fine. She got one. Now, I was going to enjoy the silence, and tomorrow, the real fallout would begin. It had been 20 minutes since I left Evelyn's party, 20 minutes since the carefully planned celebration had started unraveling. Yet still, no knock on my door. That was surprising. I had expected Evelyn to send someone, her mother, a friend, maybe even a guest, to drag me back before anyone noticed the missing catering, the unpaid bills, the gaping hole in her perfect evening. But no one came. Instead, my phone started buzzing again. One call, two. Then an all-out assault, back-to-back calls, the vibrations rattling against the wooden coffee table like a panicked heartbeat. I smirked. Oh, so now she noticed. I flipped, my phone over. 47 missed calls, 62 unread messages. Evelyn, we need to talk. Evelyn, you embarrassed me in front of everyone. Evelyn, you're acting like a child. Just call me. Clara. What the hell is wrong with you? Evelyn's mom, I am so disappointed in you. Fix this. I rolled my eyes. The audacity. Then another text. Evelyn, answer me. Right now. I didn't. Instead, I leaned back, propped my feet up on the coffee table, and turned on the TV. For once, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix things. Tomorrow would bring another storm. But tonight was mine. I stretched, yawning. Nope, no fixing anything. For years, I had been the fixer, the problem solver, the one who always pulled Evelyn out of the disasters she created. Not anymore. Last night, she had been forced to handle her own mess, and I knew, without a doubt, she hadn't slept. She had spent the night running damage control, apologizing to guests, scrambling to salvage what was left of her reputation. I could picture it perfectly. The party had started as a grand spectacle, a display of wealth and status. But as the hours dragged on, no food, no drinks, no control, guests had begun trickling out. And Evelyn? She had been left standing in the ruins of her own making. The first call of the morning came at 7:42 a.m. Evelyn, I watched the screen vibrate against the nightstand. Let it ring out. A minute later, a text. Evelyn, pick up the damn phone. I took my time stretching, making coffee, enjoying the quiet. Another call. Then another. Finally, curiosity got the better of me. I answered. The moment I did, she went off. You ruined everything. I sipped my coffee. Morning to you too, Evelyn. Don't play games with me, you... She took a sharp breath, probably realizing screaming wouldn't get her anywhere. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. I leaned against the counter, amused. Did I? Or did you do that all by yourself? Silence, just her breathing, sharp and furious. Then came the shift, the fake softness, the attempt at damage control. I didn't mean what I said last night, she tried, voice dipping into faux sincerity. I was just joking. You know how I get after a few drinks. I chuckled. Oh, so that's the excuse? You weren't cruel, just drunk? It wasn't a big deal, she snapped. You overreacted like a child. You left me to deal with everything alone. I shook my head. You mean like how you left me? Standing there while you called me a loser? How you humiliated me in front of your friends? More silence. Then the last-ditch effort. I just need you to fix this, she whispered. I need you to... I cut her off. Not my problem. Then, for the first time ever, I hung up on her. By noon, Evelyn had stopped calling, but the social media circus had just begun. She did exactly what I expected. tried to twist the narrative, play the victim. Her Instagram stories were a mess of passive-aggressive quotes. Some people don't know how to handle a real woman. You find out who truly supports you when things fall apart. The comments, though, they told a different story. Wait, did Evelyn really not have enough food at the party? Someone said she couldn't pay the caterer. Did her husband ditch the party? Oh yes, this was better than I could have planned. By 3 p.m., a message popped up that caught me off guard. Amelia, you okay? Amelia wasn't like Evelyn's other friends. She wasn't cruel, wasn't fake, just distant. So why was she reaching out now? Me. Why? Amelia. Because I saw what happened last night, and I saw it coming. I paused. Me. What do you mean? A few minutes passed before she replied. Amelia. Evelyn has treated you like an accessory for years. I told her once that if she kept pushing, you'd eventually push back. Amelia. She laughed and said you'd never leave. I smirked. Me. Guess she was wrong. Amelia. Yeah. And now she's losing her mind. Satisfying. More than I expected. By evening, Evelyn had stopped calling, but she had shifted tactics. This time, it was her mother, Evelyn's mom. Sweetheart, you're being unreasonable. We need to talk. I exhaled. I already knew how this was going to play out. Evelyn's world was crumbling, and instead of reflecting on why, she was scrambling to fix it. The plan? Guilt. Me into submission. Not happening. I turned off my phone, poured myself a drink, and for the first time in years, I felt free. I had always wondered what betrayal would feel like. Rage, heartbreak, a screaming match with slammed doors and shattered glasses. What I felt was none of that. As Sophia sat across from me at dinner that night, babbling about her stressful day. At work, all I felt was clarity. This wasn't about emotions. This was chess, and I was done playing defense. I had planned this moment meticulously. The setting, the timing, the trap. Tonight wasn't about answers. It was about forcing her to face the truth. Sophia barely touched her plate when I leaned back, swirling the last bit of wine in my glass. Funny thing happened the other day, I said casually. I got an anonymous text. Her fork paused mid-air, just for a second. Oh, she said, her voice steady, her face controlled. What kind of text? I smiled, just a little. It was about a church, St. Michael's to be exact. Apparently there was a wedding there recently. Beautiful ceremony, I hear. The color drained from her face, subtly. But I caught it. Sounds nice, she said, forcing a light laugh. Who got married? I leaned forward, setting my glass down with a soft clink. You tell me, Sophia. A hairline fracture. Just a flicker of panic in her eyes. She opened her mouth to respond, but I wasn't done. I slid my phone across the table. The screen lit up with the photo I had taken outside the church. Sophia and Liam at the altar, hands clasped, smiles plastered across their faces. The evidence was damning. She stared at the screen, her lips parting slightly, but no words came out. Go ahead, I said, my voice calm. Explain this to me. I don't, she stammered, her polished composure unraveling. Nathan, it's not what it looks like. I let out a dry laugh. Not what it looks like? Because it looks a lot like my wife marrying my best friend. Or am I seeing things? Tears pooled in her eyes, but I felt no pity. Not yet. Nathan, please, let me explain. Oh, I'm all ears, I said, leaning back. Tell me, Sophia, was this before or after? You texted me that you were working late? Before or after you told me you loved me while planning a wedding with Liam behind my back? She broke, shoulders shaking, the first sob escaping. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, so you meant for me to find out some other way? On your honeymoon? Or were you just never going to tell me?
It's not like that, she whispered. It's complicated.
I laughed.
Complicated? Right. That's what you call it when you betray the two people who trusted you most.
She reached for my hand. I pulled back. Nathan, I love you. I always have. This wasn't about love, it was... Stop! My voice cut through her excuses like a knife. Don't you dare try to rewrite this story. You made your choices. Now, you get to live with them. I stood, slow, deliberate. This isn't over, I said, walking to the door. Not for me, and not for you. And with that, I left. The trap had been sprung. But the game was far from over. Tomorrow, the reckoning would continue. The moment I walked out of that dining room, leaving Sophia behind with her half-hearted excuses and crocodile tears, I felt an unfamiliar sense of calm. It wasn't over, not by a long shot, but I was no longer on the defensive. I was in control, now. Every lie she had told, every secret Liam thought he had buried, every betrayal they had orchestrated was about to come back to haunt them. They assumed I'd play the role of the devastated husband, wallowing in self-pity. They didn't know me at all. That night I sat at my desk, staring at the mountain of evidence I had collected. Bank statements, photos, emails. It was all there. But this wasn't just about revenge. It was about precision. If I was going to dismantle their lives, I was going to do it piece by piece, methodically and thoroughly. I started with Liam, the charming one, the smooth talker. But charm only goes so far when the facts are laid bare. Our business partnership was my first target. I combed through our contracts, searching for weak points. He had no idea that I had spent years quietly reinforcing my stake in the company. I owned 60% while he held the remaining 40%. He liked to act like we were equals, but the truth was, I had the upper hand all along. The next day, I scheduled a meeting with our legal team under the guise of discussing a new client proposal. Liam arrived late, as usual, flashing that confident grin of his. He had no clue what was coming. "Thanks for making the time, Liam," I said, my tone casual. "We've got some restructuring to discuss." "Restructuring?" He frowned, clearly confused. "What are you talking about?" I slid a stack of papers across the table. "Your shares. I've decided to buy you out." His face went pale. "You can't do that." "Oh, but I can," I said, my voice calm but firm. "Section 14, 2 of our partnership agreement. Remember that little clause about ethical violations? Adultery with your partner's spouse counts, wouldn't you say?" He stammered, but I wasn't done. "And you've been skimming profits, I've got the records. Misappropriation of funds is another violation, so you see, Liam, this isn't just a buyout. It's me cleaning house." By the time the meeting ended, Liam was no longer a partner in our company. He stormed out, muttering threats under his breath. I didn't care. He was out. And I was free of his shadow. Next came Sophia. While Liam was predictable in his arrogance, Sophia was more subtle, more calculating. She knew how to manipulate emotions, how to play the victim. But I had something she didn't: foresight. Over the next few days, I made quiet moves to isolate her financially. I froze our joint accounts, transferred my savings into a private fund, and canceled her access to every credit card she had. I even reached out to our mortgage lender, informing them of my intention to refinance the house solely under my name. She wouldn't know what hit her until it was too late. The first crack in her facade came when she tried to use one of our cards at her favorite boutique. She called me, her voice dripping with manufactured sweetness. "Nathan, there's some issue with the credit card. Do you know what's going on?" I feigned confusion. "That's strange. I'll look into it." She had no idea I was already 5 steps ahead. 2 days later, the panic set in. "Nathan, I think there's a problem with our bank account. The app says the funds are frozen." Oh, that, I said, barely hiding my smirk. I had to make some adjustments. Don't worry, it's all being handled. Her silence was deafening. A week later, I sent Sophia a package, a simple manila envelope with a single document inside, divorce papers. Along with it, a handwritten note that read, "This is just the beginning." She called me, her voice trembling. "Nathan, what is this? Divorce papers? Are you serious?" "Dead serious," I said. "Did you really think you could marry Liam behind my back and I'd just let it go?" She tried to argue, to plead, but I cut her off. "You made your choices, Sophia. Now you get to live with them." For the first time in years, she seemed unsettled. Not the usual bad day at work kind of unsettled, but a deeper, more tangible unease. I watched as she unraveled. It was fascinating. 2 weeks after signing the divorce papers, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. No phone calls, no texts, no surprise visits, just silence. And God, it felt good. Then, just as I started to believe it was truly over, my phone rang. Not Sophia, not Liam, her lawyer. "Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. I'm calling on behalf of Miss Carter regarding the division of assets." I almost laughed. "The papers were signed." "They were," he admitted. "However, Miss Carter believes she is entitled to additional financial support." I chuckled. "For what exactly?" "She claims that due to the nature of your financial contributions during the marriage, she has become financially dependent and requires assistance to maintain her standard of living." Translation: she didn't like being broke. "Tell her to get a job," I said, hanging up. She tried guilt-tripping me through texts. "Nathan, can we talk? I don't want to fight, I need help." "I thought you were better than this." "Better than what? Better than standing up for myself? Better than refusing to be used?" I turned off my phone and went to bed. A month later, I heard through the grapevine that Sophia had left town. She had burned through the last of her savings and could no longer afford rent. Did I feel bad? No. Because the truth was, she had done this to herself. She spent years treating me like I was nothing, and in the end, that's exactly what she was left with. Nothing. And me? I was finally free. 3 months later, I was thriving, rebuilding my life, reclaiming my time. Then one day I ran into Kelly, one of Sophia's old friends. She hesitated before speaking. "I heard you moved on, that you're doing well." I nodded. "Yeah, I am." A pause. Then, "I'm sorry." That caught me off guard. "For what?" "For never standing up to her," Kelly admitted. "For watching her treat you like crap and never saying anything." I shrugged. "It's in the past." She nodded. "Still, you didn't deserve that." I exhaled, slowly. "I know." And for the first time, I felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just peace. And that was real freedom.